Hey guys, welcome to my recap video from my interview on City 105.1 FM on a Tuesday not too long ago. The interview was slated for 8:15 a.m. I think I left the house at about 6:30. And yo, check out the fuel queue on the left, man. Crazy. Thank God the fuel thing is all sorted out right now. Anyway, so here I am in Alausa. That building right up front, I wonder what is going to be at the end of the day when it's done. But yo, back to the interview and back to the show. So I'm heading over to City 105.1 FM. You'll see it in a second. That huge mast in the distance, that's where we're going. That's the radio station. And real quick, right, the interview is on a segment of Bella's show called Your Business, My Business, where she talks to entrepreneurs, and together we try and figure out how we got into this whole entrepreneurial thing and how young people who are aspiring entrepreneurs can get into the same field and do the same thing. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't film while the interview was going on in the studio, but I did do some recap or some talking about it when I was done, and that will come up right after this. I hope you guys enjoy it. Hey guys, Tito here for the Fortnightly, and I thought I'd do a quick episode because I'm just coming from a radio interview I had with my good friend Bellarose on 105.1 FM right here in Lagos, and they're talking to entrepreneurs in a series that they're doing from 8:15 a.m. on weekdays, and this week they're interviewing photographers. So today is Tuesday, and I think I was her second photographer. Yesterday she had Sheyi Body Lawson on. And what we talked about essentially was the business of photography, which is ironic because last week we were talking about photography, or the business of photography at NIFEC, the Nigerian Photography Expo and Conference. Anyway, I was talking to Bella, and she had really good questions for me. Incidentally, the show wasn't very long. I think it was about 15 to 20 minutes long, but Bella tried her best to pack in a few good questions in there. The questions bordered on what it's like being a photographer, how an aspiring photographer or somebody that wants to be a photographer can get their foot in the door, how they can go about starting. One tip I gave was that anyone aspiring to leave their 9-to-5 job, or who is just fresh out of school and wants to become a photographer, they should spend some time just shooting for free, just in order to understand their equipment, to understand their phone, to understand things like colors, symmetry, composition and whatnot. Photograph friends or siblings' birthday parties, any event where you can just tinker around with your phone just to get some experience, just to rehearse. In that time they can also research as well, research prices, research styles and forms of photography and so on. Bella also asked about the family factor. When parents hear that you've decided that you want to become a photographer, how did they receive it? How did they receive that information? Relating it to my experience, I told her that wasn't such a big deal for me. For those of you who don't know, I had worked in two different industries prior to me becoming an entrepreneur. I'd worked in human resources, and then before working in human resources, I worked in stockbroking, and these two situations were in 9-to-5 situations in paid employment before I became an entrepreneur. So I had done that. From my experience with my folks, they had seen that I had tried something else, and not that it wasn't working, it's just that my life or my career was going in a different direction at that point in time. And I explained it to them, and my parents are cool people, and my family, they're all cool. So here we are several years later, and it's all good. But I do understand how it can be a challenge for some people with their families when you say you want to become an entrepreneur, or you want to study something or go into a field like photography. There are always concerns about the income, about how people would perceive you, or what they think about you and all that. But each to his own. If you really, really want to do it, if it's what you're called to do, if you feel you have a gift, and if you feel you have a plan and you can make money from it, I don't think there's anyone that can stop you. What else did Bella and I talk about? Training. Is training important? I said yes, training is very important. Whether you are born with the eye of the photographer, with an eye for art, an eye for composition, that kind of thing, or you're not. If you're not, it can be learned. But guess what? Either way, whether you're born with it or you're not born with it, training is very essential. And that's why it's great to have things like NIFEC, the Nigerian Photography Expo and Conference, where people can gather and learn from other established photographers. But aside from that, there are loads of training programs done by different photographers in Nigeria and outside Nigeria, and they're not too expensive. And that's something that we need to do more of, and something we need to encourage more of, the training and development aspect. Because when you have more training functions, more development initiatives, it gives the industry more structure, because that's something that we're really facing in photography now, structure as an industry. But when you see that practitioners in an industry are consciously and actively trying to develop themselves to reach some form of standard or establish some form of standardization, it gives that industry some kind of prestige and some kind of recognition and so on. So yeah, so that's basically what we talked about with Bella. It's raining right now. I don't know if you can see through the windows. It's raining, so I think that affected the network. So we couldn't take tweets and phone calls while the show was going on, but tweets have been coming in, and I will respond to them when I get back to my desk. But it was a fun show. It was lots of fun. My first time at City FM. Thank you, City FM, for having me. Thank you, Bellarose Okujie, for inviting me. It was lots of fun, and I really hope to do more radio interviews in the future. It's good for any professional to be invited to the radio. It kind of shows that you're some sort of authority on an issue, and it's good for marketing as well. I did record it on my phone. I don't know where I'm going to host it. I don't know if YouTube is the right kind of place to host the radio interview, or I need to open a SoundCloud account. I'll figure out what to do, but I really would like you guys to listen to it, to listen to the interview and give me your feedback. But that's basically what we talked about, what I've just mentioned in this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm about to go into the mall to check out some things. I'm just coming from my hardware person's place, because I bought some gear not too long ago and it had some issues. I was concerned that they wouldn't replace it for me. It's been 2 weeks, and people can be funny when a lot of time has gone by, but luckily they replaced it for me. But they also got to sell me some additional stuff that I need for it too, so maybe it was all just marketing and a gimmick on their part. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next one, and I will let you know what I decide concerning the audio file for the interview I just had at CCFM. Thanks guys, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.